So we're leaving the Solomons and head to south for the first time. We'll be closer to the Atlantic Ocean than I think we've been. If you don't count canals and channels and stuff.
Yep.
So heading down to Norfolk area, going through ICW eventually, down to North Carolina.
Chomp, alligators, chomp.
No, yep. And apparently I learned that there can be alligators in the ICW, and I am not a fan. So Lori already volunteered to sacrifice herself to alligators.
I grew up watching crocodile hunters and catching snakes in my backyard. He's not afraid of engines. I'm not afraid of snakes. So, yeah, that's how we're balancing out this relationship.
Is that it?
Yes. Engines and electrical, snakes.
I feel like I work on engines more than you work on snakes.
Well, you know.
We'll have to find some snakes for you to work on.
I also bring home bacon.
Bacon and snakes. Like a completely different channel.
I just had this vision of like a snake, like Indiana Jones, that really gross second one with all the snakes.
Snakes and bacon. Yep. Temple of Doom. Gross.
Yep. Oh, alright. Battery's mad that we're right at the threshold.
Yep.
We're heading out into the harbor. We're going to put our sails up quick before we...
So our DC charger threshold is different than our engine's comfort level, so sometimes it beeps about the battery, even though that's because it's not communicating with the charger. That's a separate entity. So, but it's okay. Yeah. We're on it. We just have to listen to the beeps every once in a while.
Yep.
If we go below about 1300 RPM on that side, then it beeps at us because the alternator is not putting out enough.
I don't know what's in the water, but there's
take
like
the charge
shiny.
It's a shiny in the water.
There's a shiny something floating in the water.
It's a weird spot for a crab pot, but we'll check it out. All right, catch up closer to Norfolk.
We're sailing to Norfolk over by the Atlantic. Woo! Me and Daddy have been at a gaming war to see who is the better gamer. Hello, Daddy.
Anna's been trying really hard.
He didn't beat my high score, and I didn't beat his high score.
Yeah, we each found our own games that we're good at.
We're sailing in. We're also going to the Atlantic Ocean where the clean water is, and then we're gonna go to a clean water beach.
Haley, what are you gonna do at the beach?
I'm gonna build a sandcastle with Anna.
Yeah. Gonna be a really big one.
Yeah, with a stick on it, and it's gonna be beautiful. And also some seashell windows.
Oh, seashell windows, that would be really cool. You like going sailing on a boat? Yeah.
Even though it's the clean water inside the water, there's not going to be shells that are broken like in the dirty water.
Well, there's going to be broken shells, and there's going to be whole shells. With the waves, they rock the shells all over the place, and they kind of shake them up, and sometimes they get broken. And they get broken into little tiny pieces, and they turn into sand.
Whoa.
Yep. Currently we have our inverter. It's a 3,000 watt inverter, which means it could pull power out of the battery and power up to 3,000 watts worth of appliances at once. Which works okay for individual things and small loads and stuff, but when we're running things, bigger things, like if you try and run the dishwasher and try and use the microwave while the dishwasher is running, then it overloads things and we get blinking red lights and it's overloaded, and say we had it overheat once, and just not functional as functional as we'd like. Also, it has an issue where it can only charge the batteries at 120 amps, if we're plugged into shore power, if we're running off our generator, which runs, it charges the battery at somewhere in 10-15% per hour or so. And if we have an upgraded system, then we can charge our battery at a much faster rate, like 20-30% per hour, which is much nicer. And then we'd also be able to run more appliances at once for short periods, things that we run that are high wattage, but short duration, things like microwaves. So what we're going to do is we got a Victron Multiplus in there currently. I got a second Victron Multiplus, and then we're going to go ahead and run those in parallel to our DC and to our AC, and then those will be able to distribute the load. So we'll be able to run more wattage at once and be able to charge the batteries at a higher amperage. Alright, this is the system I got currently, one 3000 watt Multiplus 12 volt system. Backing up over to my batteries over there. So yeah, but hopefully it's all the components I'm going to need to install the second Multiplus to be able to increase the speed we can charge batteries at and increase the amount of watts we can use concurrently without overheating things and setting off alarms. So this is going to be my AC breaker box. I have a 32 amp input and output for each Multiplus. So it's going to go from shore power into this thing, split for each Multiplus. Go to the Multiplus, go back through breakers again, and then recombine into the power that's going back in the system.
It's so pretty and symmetrical.
Can I see it? Can I see it?
What is this again?
This is the breaker for the AC side of the circuit. We're coming along so far, getting everything mounted in here. So the fresh air intake for both of the Multipluses is on the back end in the middle there. So I'm going to make a little vent hole with a fan. It's going to blow some cool air into the cabinet and where they're pulling in air to cool the Multipluses. Alright, there we go. Just a little hole there. Have a pure fan that's going to go on the inside, got a vent that's going to go on the outside, and bring some fresh air in the cabinet. in there got to be a bit less organized, a bit more of a mess, but it'll work. So we'll test it out. Here. Oh, service. And green light. Connect service B. B on. A side of AC power. Microwave's on, AC power's on. I'm gonna figure out how to make the two get along with each other. Alright, currently have I set up functioning as a single multiplus. Just have a second service switch turned off. You can turn you can adjust the multipluses with Servo and install firmware and change settings, but you can't change the VE bus setting. Apparently you can't designate it as a 2 multiplus setup, and it just sets off alerts and alarms and stuff like that if you try and connect both without connecting the little $70 USB adapter. So I got to get my hands on a $70 USB adapter to program this. So run for one multiplus for now. Overall, it's working all right. These A&L fuses it's getting pretty hot. So I don't know if it's cheap fuse holder or cheap fuses, but it gets warm. So I ended up taking the cover off of that thing. There's a bit of a voltage drop across it, which I guess you can have with A&Ls, and Class T fuses can have less of a voltage drop and less heat, but they're also a lot more expensive. So we'll see what happens with that. Maybe try switching out for a different fuse, or I don't know, switching out for a different type of fuse. Keely, what did you do?
Why are you in there? Oh, I can get free like this.
Oops, you can get free?
See?
Oh my goodness.
That is
Ta-da!